Welcome. This is all minus one quick shots. Folks, the big news today. After about 24 executive orders from the White House immediately under Joe Biden's reign, we are seeing some big economic changes already. And one of the biggest is his administration, himself, whomever wrote these things, are throwing the unions and the oil companies under the bus. Why? Because everything is about climate change. Everything is about the UN. Everything is about the NGOs. Everything is about changing the world via the Great Reset. I have told you once before, and I will tell you again. I will repeat it until you understand it. We do not live in a sovereign nation. We live in a nation where the republic was technically destroyed by FDR. It was allowed to be destroyed. We have been a puppet of globalists ever since. We have been the military arm of that, and now our time and turn is over. Literally, we are inflating our money. We will not be the world currency within a few years. You cannot print 66% or 70% or whatever it is now of all money ever printed since we left the Bretton Woods standard and expect there not to be economic collapse. On top of that, now we will not be energy independent. They are going to ban fracking, which brings in natural gas, which is quite clean. And that made us energy independent. The pipeline would have given us cheaper oil. Oil prices will go up. The prices of everything will go up. I have actually literally witnessed this in real time. I've been paying attention. My cheap $5 beer I buy is now $6. This has happened just in the last few weeks. Folks, you need to understand the realities of how this world works. Most politicians get up and they speak platitudes. Now, did Donald J. Trump do that? Of course he did. But he wasn't part of this globalist cabal, at least by policy or by things that he said. Did he care about the little guy? I think to some degree, but I mean, largely he was just trying to do what he thought was going to give the U.S. dominance again in the world. But that ship has sailed, folks, because there is 1 billion people in China. 1 billion people. And the UN, the WHO, the World Economic Forum, Disney, Hollywood, the NBA, the mainstream media, they are all very friendly with China. And we know, Beijing Biden's connections. We know that his son was building business there as well. And, I don't fault the guy per se, but he did this while he was the vice president. And a lot of it is quite shady. This is the kind of stuff, folks, that dystopians are made of. Where the authoritarians that essentially allowed hundreds of millions of people to starve to death, they had a cultural revolution, a revolution in their own society in which children ratted on their parents, where the person who created Mao's Little Red Book was actually eventually taken away for violating the sayings in the Little Red Book that he wrote himself. We have Uyghurs who are Muslims that are being put in concentration camps and re-educated, sterilized, or their organs are being harvested. We have a social credit score. I've been aware of this for quite some time. There is a Black Mirror episode with, what's her name? Bryce Dallas Howard, the actress, Ron Howard, the director, and Opie from the Andy Griffith Show. That's his daughter. And you want to live in a world like that? We have social media companies who will censor the very president himself. They will put whatever propaganda out there. They will go after independent media sources. Folks, this is technocracy, and this is oligarchy, and this is evil. Joe Biden is just a puppet, and most of the presidents are. Barack Obama was, George W. Bush was, but I think that Donald Trump wasn't. I could be wrong there. I could absolutely be wrong. But it just does not seem like that was the case. And frankly, I would have liked more economic expansion under his reign. However, what did we see? Well, we saw this big old coof thing come out. And then we saw the World Economic Forum say, well, this is an opportunity for the great reset that we've been talking about now for several years, in accordance with the UN Plan 2030. I don't know if it'll happen that soon, but the United States is going in a very, very bad direction. And if we get into economic recession, they'll blame it on Donald Trump despite his good years and despite the shutting down of economies by authoritarian left-wing governors and mayors and city councilmen and county boards and whatever else. Folks, this is a time and a period to reflect and prepare and understand that gas prices will go up, food prices will go up, the economy will stagnate, there will not be jobs, unemployment will begin to go up, the dollar is inflating. The Board of Governors at the Federal Reserve Bank said that this fiscal year of 2021, they want to print another 33 to 66% of the current stock of money out there. Now, if you don't understand basic economics, let me explain that to you very quickly. When you have more of something, it becomes less valuable. And when your money is tied to nothing but oil, which we do have a petrodollar standard that oil is traded in dollars, then essentially that money means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. Now, will we continue to trade money trade in US dollars for oil? Probably not. Probably not if we continue to inflate like this. And we see that the World Economic Forum all of a sudden come out about caseloads and that you shouldn't do PCR tests the way that they were being done before. We've seen governors who were being draconian before all of a sudden lift certain lockdown restrictions or say we have to do this or that. And many of you out there didn't think that this was all show. Well, I've been saying it. Many people have been saying it. People with much bigger channels than my little 100 sub channel. But you need to start paying attention. You need to stop listening to propaganda media. And you need to understand what you've been warned of. Biden doesn't care about he doesn't care about the unions. And he certainly doesn't care about the environment. This isn't about the environment. This is about power and control. You think that Al Gore with his multi-million-dollar mansion and flying around jet setting in his airplanes cares about the environment? No, that was all a pyramid scheme, folks. It was all a way to get you to buy into the natural cycles of the earth and fear it. And to be afraid of the growing population. And now we are fighting a war on wokeness. And the war is against the white man because the white man is the worst. Because somehow, we're no longer take Martin Luther King's words literally and judge men by their character. But now we assume that the melanin in their skin gives them value and worth. We've created a culture of feminine superiority. We have downgraded our men. We've become weak. So many of you sit around and play video games and live your lives and you eat junk and you do absolutely nothing. Well, that's why I am here, is to say stop it, wake up, be better, start speaking up, be braver, go work out, go eat some meat, go do a better job than what you've been doing before. And I don't expect you to be perfect. I am far from perfect. But the most important thing you can do, folks, is Get your faith straight. Now, maybe if you are listening, you are atheistic. But if you believe in God, strengthen that connection to God, because he will carry you through the rough times ahead, and they will be coming. I have said it once before, and I will say it again. I have a prediction that we have 2 administrations. We'll have the Biden administration. He said from the beginning he will be a one-term president if he makes it through his first term. And then we'll have whatever administration is next. That might be Trump 2024. That might be Harris 2024. We don't know. But depending on how dire the economic system gets and how suppressed those folks who are freedom-loving patriots, constitutionalists, how much suppression they get by the corporations, the technocracy, and the autocrats in power, we will see civil war. And I don't mean the Cold War with skirmishes that we've had. The far left is very excited right now about what's going on with Beijing Biden. They're quite upset with him. They've been rioting. They're going to keep rioting. That wasn't a product of Donald Trump's America. That started under Obama. And you need to go back and check your facts and your history, because you slept through it. You slept through the events of 2022 leading up into 2016. I did not. I paid attention. It looks like we're going back into Syria. It's like I predicted this or something. It's like I said this just the other day. Man, how am I able to do this? Am I some sort of psychic? No, I seek out truth. That's how. I'm not always right, and I don't want to be right, not on these matters. But the reality is there's a pattern to these things, and the reality is that we can see who actually pulls the strings behind the scenes. They talk about it. They're proud of it. Biden wants to go in the Paris Climate Accord. Guess what's going to happen to the industries? They're going to crash. China doesn't care. China will do what China wants to do. China hasn't been locked down, by the way, folks. They have not been locked down. They've been partying this whole time while the rest of the world is acting a fool. Acting the fool over basically a very mild cold that in some cases, like all colds, causes pneumonia and unfortunately death. A lot of those folks, that culling was going to happen, that culling of the herd, because they were already very unhealthy. And you may say, Bill, how can you be so hard-hearted? And I'm not, folks. I'm just a realistic individual. And I've spent my life in realistic, real-world situations, in danger, in places where people were manipulative and evil, where they would hurt you because they just wanted something. They didn't care. Now, I'm not like that, but I can certainly recognize it in other people. And I can tell you what, when you go to work every day for over a decade, and you have people lie to you straight to your face constantly, you learn what is truth and fact pretty quick. So again, big news. I mean, Biden said he was going to do it. He said he was going to do it. And then he recanted. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Oh, no. Trump said in the election debates, you were going to get rid of fracking, and you were going to ban the pipeline, and you were going to do this, and you're going to do that. And he said, no, I'm not. Okay. See, because it's not about Biden. It's about the agenda. It's about the bigger agenda. And the bigger agenda is outside of that. So again, folks, just get ready, be prepared, pay attention. And guys, again, don't panic. You have time. The courts do work. The Congress and the Senate will get stalled up some. Things will happen. Local governments will push back some state governments. But the trajectory is on course. It will happen, and they have to do it and slowly roll it out over time. The reality is that if you keep waiting, though, you will get blindsided by all of this. And I don't want that to happen to you. I want you to be prepared. So with all that, this has been All Minus One Quick Shots. And guys, be safe and be well.